What's going on, guys? Hey, we're going to talk about here my AVS, why I have it set up the way I do, talk about the different parts that are on here and kind of break it down. Not necessarily a gear review. I will talk about how some of these things have worked well for me and some things that have not worked well. We'll cover sort of at the end. Talk about why I made some of the decisions as we go along the way, kind of break down where these things came from. So this is my AVS. It's not issued. It is a personal purchase. I'm not that cool by any means. Just so you guys have a little bit of insight. You guys can see from the name of the channel, Weekend Cross Rifles. I was enlisted 11 Bravo for a short period of time, then moved over to the dark side and became an officer. So right now I'm a lieutenant, and this is just kind of like my kit that I will wear to train. I've worn this to extended training events. I've worn it to drill weekends. I've worn it just to go outside and do some training on my own. I'll go for runs in this thing. So I'm trying to put some time under this and get a pretty good feel for how this would work long term. And I'm pretty much liking how this is set up with a few exceptions. So just to kind of break it down, it is a Crye AVS. I will be looking at my notes so I don't forget something, even though I'm definitely still going to forget something. So be sure to remind me in the comments if I forget something that you have a question about. So it's a Crye AVS, large plate bags, large XL harness. So I really do like the harness on this thing. I put it on without it initially, did some playing around with it, and I like the harness. So along with the harness, have the 3-band skeletal cummerbund. And one thing that I did to this AVS that I don't hear a whole lot about is I went with a double buckle. So if you use the AVS Customization kit, it comes with a second shoulder buckle. There's a couple other companies that do them as well. I'm not sure who those are off the top of my head, but the double buckle is really cool because it allows you to get in and out of either side. Because standard it's going to come with one. You would set it up so you would slide kind of in and out one side. With the double buckle, not only does it allow you the freedom to switch which side you want to get in and out of based on kind of maybe, how your gear is set up at the moment, or maybe just how you're feeling that day. But if you're going to pack this thing up, especially if you're in the military and you're going to be moving things in duffels and rucksacks, this thing is pretty bulky. This thing is pretty big. This thing is not collapsed down like a JPC or a lot of your standard plate carriers, right? This thing has some bulk to it, especially because of the harness. So if you do get the double buckle, you can completely disengage the front plate from the back plate, flip it around, stack them inside of each other. It fits a lot better in a duffel bag if you do it that way. So I definitely recommend anybody that does an AVS to do the double shoulder buckle. On my cummerbund, so we can start kind of opening it up now. On the internal cummerbund, I do have the what is this? The MBITR internal radio pouches. I just have one on here. I do have another one. So this would be good to run like a larger military radio on the inside, or even just spare magazines, or any kind of last minute thing that you need to add to your kit. I don't keep this on there all the time. A lot of times I will have it stowed away in the back panel. Just wanted to kind of show you guys that this is a pretty good solution to carrying a radio. It's not going to be necessarily pressed up against your skin because the harness does provide some good, not necessarily padding, but it's going to evenly distribute that weight across your body. So anything you do in here, you're not going to feel too bad. It is going to add bulk to the whole system, but that is what it is, right? Outside of that, I don't have the soft armor pouches on here. The 6x6 hard plate pouches. I don't have those attached right now, but I do have those in case we're running side armor. So again, not on here, but it is something I have. It does work pretty well. Again, it is going to make you more bulky, but real world, you're probably going to want side plates, right? On the back, I'll start turning this thing around. So I do have the zip-on back panel. I know there's a bunch of different ones. They make some that have your pouches for your flashbangs, and you guys can look at all the super cool different back panels that they have. This one to me is the most practical. It does collapse down really flat, even flatter than say like a like a Haley strategic flat pack. I did have that on here at one point. It is pretty small. It doesn't give you a ton of space in the flat pack. This gives you a little bit more room, but it also just collapses down really flat. So if you're getting in and out of vehicles, you really don't feel this unless you start to fill it up. The flat pack, I felt it. I'd feel it with even an assault pack. So definitely any kind of ruck that you're wearing. Wearing a ruck with a plate carrier is really never going to be comfortable. But if you start adding, even a couple inches on the outside of that, an inch versus, basically nothing, I could feel it. It made a big difference to me. So I decided to go with this guy, and I really do like it. One thing I did on this is I did remove the emergency doffing cables, just because it didn't feel like it was super secure. The way that it runs, to me, it's too prone to making its way loose over time. So that was just a personal preference that I did on this one. Doesn't mean it's the right decision for everybody. A couple adapters I have on here: AXL Advanced or AXL. Not sure how you would say that. I've got a couple things on here from them. So I've got on the front the AVP, the Adaptive Vest Placard, and basically what this does is it allows me to run a placard on my AVS. You could do some different things with buckles. You could rig it up in a certain way so that it works, but this panel has worked really well for me. It sits right where I need it to, and it's pretty sturdy, so I like that there. I do have on the inside, it's called a SUB load adapter. So this is what I was talking about earlier. You can basically disconnect the whole thing. So I do have this that allows you to add a dangler. I bought it because it seemed like a really great idea. It fits on here really well. Theoretically, you could still do it on the Velcro at the front. So I do use it. We'll talk about danglers here in a little bit. Not sure how I feel about danglers. I don't love them right now, but if I was going to run one, I probably would run it through there just because I bought it. But to be honest, you could run it behind your placard, and that would probably be no big deal. So shout out to AXL, though. They do make some really great stuff. I've got some other pieces here that are from them as well, like this admin zipper up top. I forget that this is not just part of the original Crye vest because it just makes so much sense. So this is definitely something I would suggest everybody does. Having a zipper here and here, you're always going to have some things that you need to be able to get to quickly. For me, writing rain, pen, notepad. And I didn't say this to start, but this thing is not fully kitted out. I moved a lot of the things out of this over to my tap system that I'm using right now, that I'm working on. So if this thing gets some traction and I feel like making some more videos, I'll probably do a tap system video next, just because the internet, of course, needs more videos on the tap system. But this adapter up top makes a lot of sense to me. Moving on to the placard. So the placard is a Mk5 Spiritus. In front of that, it's got the CCS pouch, and it's a system that works pretty well together, right? Seems like it's all pretty well designed to work together, and it's got enough admin space. You can get some bigger notepads in there, your pens, pencils, compasses, all that good infantry stuff. On the sides, these are pouches, and I don't hear a lot about these guys. I kind of found them on accident, but these are really great pistol pouches. So these come from a company called Owyhee, O-W-Y-H-E-E. They make really good M17 pistol pouches. And what I like about them is that they're very deep. So even with your extended magazines, you can fit it in there. It's in there pretty sturdy. I've tried some other ones from different companies, and it seems like a lot of them are not made for extended magazines like this, and you'll get just enough Velcro to maybe close over. but these, you get some really good connection there with the Velcro. So hook and loop, whatever. So I do suggest those pouches from that company. I've got a triple mag on my tap system that I will put 2 mags and a multi-tool in, and those are highly suggested. So one thing, while we're talking about the Placard, for a long time, I was using the Halo Strategic, and this is pretty similar in function, but one thing I didn't like as I started getting issued a pistol and the M17 mags was I just didn't feel like they were secure enough in the little mag holders there, even with the retention that I did put on there. I took it off, and then when I started getting pistols, I started putting them on there. I just never felt like it was really, really secure. I thought about maybe trying to convert this to a flap or do something like that, but honestly, this system right here is working really well. So shout out to Spiritus on that. All right, so as we look at the Cummerbund and how I have this thing set up, so on my right side, first thing I have here, and it's really the same thing on the left side, are these Crye 152 ammo pouches. These are great because they will hold 2 magazines easily, but these things will also hold a lot of your military size radios. So if I didn't want to go inside the Cummerbund, I could slap a radio out here. The retention bands that come with these magazine pouches, I keep in the back panel. So if I did want to add bungee retention and leave it like open top, you tuck the flap in, pull it out, slap the bungee retention on, and the Velcro's onto the front. So I do like these. I did have the smaller Crye pouches on there at first, but they're not going to hold some of your larger radios that you may want to wear externally a little bit more comfortably. Behind that is a JSTA POUCH Spiritus system. Great pouch. Keep gloves, headlamp. You could throw a multi-tool in here if you had grenades, frag grenades, smoke. Like, this is a great pouch for that. There's all kinds of things you can do with it. It's designed pretty well so that you can stick magazines behind. That's what you'll see most guys do, and they talk a lot about this kind of being made for belt kit. This is another AXL product, so this is actually for the Microfight. I want to say this is their Microfight half zipper. So it's really made to go on some of their placards. But I want to say I actually called AXL or called Spiritus, called somebody, and they suggested that this is a good solution to turning this into a GP pouch, which I've done, and I think it's definitely one of the best ways to go to get the best use out of your JSTA pouch. Because the things that you want to have a little bit more secured, some of your smaller items that you don't want to risk falling out, you want them behind a zipper, you can put them in there. And I don't need that space for magazines, so if it wasn't that, it would just be dead space. Behind that, Eagle Industries canteen pouch. There's different versions. There's some with the bungee retention. There's some other ones that are just loose. I really do like Eagle Industries. You guys will see this if I do a couple more videos. Things I really like, obviously Crye, Spiritus, and a lot of older Eagle Industries stuff. It's made really well. It's made to go through a lot, right? Made for designed and produced for a lot of Rangers, Special Forces, SEALs, all that cool guy stuff. But it has really good durability. So a lot of the older stuff that's still on the market is still in great shape. So I do like this. The only issue that I have is placement being basically just behind, on your kind of 4 o'clock there. It's tough to get to. It is tough to get to, especially with how tight this bungee retention is. So it's one thing I don't love about this setup right now. I just haven't felt more comfortable about moving it forward to move, magazine or radio pouches further behind me. So kind of is what it is right now. Going over to the left side, nothing too crazy. Again, that Crye 152 pouch. I like having it on each side. I like to keep things balanced. To me, being symmetrical is a good thing in a lot of cases. So you don't want to be weighed down too heavy one side or the other. So I do try to keep that balance. I do like that. IFAK, just your standard Army issue IFAK, right? The bigger version. What's behind it is a 100-round saw pouch that can also be used as an IFAK. I've had this one issued to me, and this one I actually use for NVGs. So inside of it, I have a padded case, which is unnecessarily multicam. Multicam ones are a little hard to find. I found one and bought it because I'm a nerd, but you can get the tan ones for like, I don't know, $5-10 on eBay. They're not much. Even an ACU one or a UCP, even if you're using a UCP one, that would be no big deal. But you would like to have some padding for your MVGs. So this works pretty well. It doesn't hold the J-arm in there and your mount all real well. It'll hold the J-arm and the MVGs pretty well, but the mount doesn't. At least last time I tried to get them in there without too much work, they don't all fit in there real well. So that's my only issue with that pouch. So maybe eventually I'll go to something bigger. I know they make more dedicated padded pouches for that. I know Tier Tactical, TYR, makes one that I've picked up at one point in time. It's rolling around in a box somewhere, so I may switch to that one and see if I like it more. All right. Besides that, that's pretty much it. Talking about danglers, one product I was really excited about was the Spiritus brunch box, because it's convertible from a dangler to a fanny pack. So if you've got things in here that you want to be able to keep on you, so say you do have your MVG stored, you're going to drop your kit, but you want to keep them stored in something that's going to be on you at all times. This is convertible. I'm going to play around with the buckles a little bit. This is obviously, you just clip into this. On this side, you have to weave the strap in, and what I may do is try to convert that to something that's a little more quickly adjustable from one style to the other. So not really rocking this so much right now. It's a great concept. I just gotta tweak it a little bit and make it work for me. So really, that's it, guys. Make sure I didn't forget anything that I really wanted to hit on. No. So if this goes well, and I don't make a fool of myself on this one, I'll probably make some more videos. Talk about some different kit. I've got an RV I've been working on also, for a long time, and then tweaking that, and then a tap system setup or two that I've been tweaking. And just as I discover things and as I pick up gear and pick up a little bit of knowledge on what works and what doesn't as far as the compatibility of certain items and how things go together, I want to share a little bit of that information, right? And it gives me an excuse to keep buying more and playing with stuff. So that's pretty much it. On YouTube, I guess you're supposed to say like, subscribe, and leave a comment, right? If you got any questions, throw it down in the chat. Thanks, guys.